This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some big updates to share with you. Democrats have been having a really hard time lately, but not as bad as President Biden and his poll numbers, almost at an all-time low. I'll let you know what Democrats are saying and how the Build Back Better plan is now pronounced dead. The voting rights, which are supposed to be voted on today, Martin Luther King Day, is now extended, or that could be dead as well. I'm going to play a few different video clips from Democrats talking about the progress of these things, how it may not pass as a whole, but they're going to break it up into a few different chunks. Also, despite all the failures of Democrats, they're still trying to push more Omicron stimulus because of the Omicron surge and try to get more stimulus out to people. So I'll give you updates on all of that, plus what's going on with the Social Security increase, as well as a few other stimulus updates and provisions, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a more than mundane Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers, and I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, Biden administration to launch the website for free COVID-19 at-home tests on Wednesday. So at covidtest.gov, you could get up to 8 tests per month per address, and that launches on Wednesday, so I'll give you more information on that. 1 year in, Biden's approval rating is in trouble. Only Trump's was lower. So according to these polls right here, you can see 5 different presidents from Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden. So if we look here, actually the lowest was Trump. He was at, I guess this time last year, this is in the red, he was at 39% by January 13th. Then Biden was started off high, had a bunch of stimulus going on, and by same time last year was 42%, so just 3 points higher. Then Obama was at 49%, you can see this line here, and then Clinton was at 56%, and Bush skyrocketed after September 11th terrorist attacks, and then was at 80% same time this year for the first year of the presidency. So you can see there, but still President Biden not looking so good because a lot of the promises that he made, as well as Democrats. For example, Democrats came up short on Martin Luther King Day promise. What's next for the push for a voting rights bill? So originally, Democrats promised that there was going to be the Build Back Better plan, which was $3.5 trillion. It was supposed to pass by back in, I think that was Halloween, right, October 31st, and they pushed it, set a Christmas deadline, and then they said, all right, we're going to take a break from the Build Back Better, we're going to pass the voting rights, then they can have unlimited reconciliation votes, and then they said today, January 17th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that there was going to be a big vote for the voting rights, and then right after that, they were going to take up the Build Back Better. But it didn't happen because of Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. They keep blocking all these bills. So the reason why I'm laughing is just because it's the same story over and over. Tim Kaine says Build Back Better is dead, but core provisions will pass. Here is more of what Tim Kaine has to say about that.
We go now to Senator Tim Kaine. He joins us from Richmond. Good morning to you, Senator.
Good morning, Margaret.
So you just heard that CBS poll, which shows 65% of the country doesn't think the president is focused enough on inflation, which is at a 40-year high of 7%. Why do you think the White House appears so out of touch with the public?
Well, look, I think it's a tough time right now. And Margaret, as you know, the White House has focused significant energy on the economy in the first year, record job growth in the first year of a White House, 3.9% unemployment rate, and very strong growth in wages. But the inflation issue is real. We've got to tackle it. Some of the inflation is related to the continuing pandemic, which has disrupted supply chains. But President Biden and Congress are also working on initiatives in the Build Back Better legislation that will reduce costs, healthcare, prescription drugs, education. People hear the title of the bill and they don't know what it might do for them. But if we can get it passed, some of it deals with cost drivers that bedevil most families, and we can show them that we're paying attention.
Even the White House economist is using the past tense when referring to Build Back Better. It's dead. You don't have the votes in the Senate.
I don't agree with you, Margaret. You're right that it's dead. The most recent version of it is not going to happen. But if you look at the core of the bill, I think the core is education and workforce, and things like reduced childcare and education expenses, workforce training, and then support for the workforce in areas like healthcare. There are other pieces of the bill that are more controversial. I still believe we're going to find a core of this bill, whatever we call it, we're going to find a core of the bill and pass it, and it will deal directly with some of these inflation concerns.
Democratic strategist James Carville was on another network this morning, and he said Democrats whine too much. He said you're not talking. He said you're not talking enough about the infrastructure bill you just passed. You're talking about things that have failed, and you have a vote scheduled this week that will also fail on voting rights. Why do you think that is an effective strategy to have high-profile failures rather than talk about the things that people are saying do matter to them on the economy and inflation?
Well, Margaret, I do think we are talking a lot about the infrastructure bill. Certainly I am in Virginia, and whether it's broadband, road, rail, bridges, ports, airports, electricity grid, it's going to mean a lot of good for every zip code in the country. With respect to voting rights, look, whatever the pundits say, makes political sense. It is such an existential issue. Those of us who survived the attack on the Capitol January 6th and are witnessing wholesale efforts around the country to make it harder for people to vote and to undermine the integrity of elections, we have to do this. We all have to be recorded at this moment in time about where are we in protecting the right to vote. Right now, it doesn't look like it has the votes to pass, but we're going to cancel our Martin Luther King Day recess and be there this week because we think it's so important for the country. And we will be voting both on the bills, but also on, if we can't get Republican support for the bills, we have uniform Democratic support. Could we find a path to make some rules adjustments to pass them?
But you don't have the votes to suspend that 60-vote threshold. So what kind of mechanism are you envisioning here that's somehow going to get this through?
As of right now, Margaret, we don't have all 50 Democrats on board with rules changes, but there are a couple of different paths. Some involve rules changes like a carve out to the filibuster, but there's other paths that we could take where the 60-vote threshold is only if you want to limit debate. We could do longer debate and then end the debate and have a simple majority. But we will have a vote on the bills, and we will have a vote on a rules path to get there because it's so important for the country.
I love how blunt and forward the interviewer was, basically saying it's dead, you don't have the votes, what are you going to do about it? And, of course, getting the same political response and optimistic approach. But is anything going to happen? Should Democrats just stop now? What are they going to do about this? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. So James Clyburn says Sinema, Manchin should quit their foolishness in opposing filibuster suspension. Doesn't matter who reaches out to Sinema or Manchin, including Oprah, the Clintons, they're not listening to anybody, which is basically the demise of the Democratic Party. And this is how it's all going to be remembered and go down. So here is more of what James Clyburn has to say about that.
The president and Democrats are facing the difficult reality that their hopes to pass sweeping election reform bills are all but dead. Tuesday, the Senate will take up their legislation, but it is expected to fail without the support of any Republicans and the refusal by 2 Democratic senators to change the rules of the Senate to pass the bill with just 51 votes as opposed to 60. It will be a devastating blow for President Biden's agenda and also his political capital after President Biden put the weight of his office and his reputation as a unifier behind the rules change, delivering a withering speech in Atlanta aimed at opponents of election reform and the filibuster change, and going to Capitol Hill Thursday to rally his party and still failing to convince Senators Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, as well as perhaps other Democratic senators, to change the filibuster rules. Joining me now, someone who has been fighting for election reform and voting rights his entire career, the House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn, Democrat of South Carolina. Now, Democrat Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema both support the 2 election reform legislation bills. They just say they oppose sidestepping the filibuster. I want you to take a listen to what Senator Sinema said during her floor speech this week.
Eliminating the 60-vote threshold will simply guarantee that we lose a critical tool that we need to safeguard our democracy from threats in the years to come.
Her basic argument is that Republicans are going to take over the chamber at some point, and Democrats are going to need that filibuster. Just last night, Donald Trump called for Republicans to pass stricter laws when it came to the election, voter ID restrictions, to ban drop boxes, stop no excuse absentee voting. Doesn't she have a point? The Democrats might need that filibuster as soon as 2025 to stop Republicans from imposing even harsher voting restrictions.
Look, no, she is not right about that. We just got around the filibuster to raise the debt limit. Why? Because we don't want to put the full faith and credit of the United States at risk. No one has asked her to eliminate the filibuster. The filibuster is there for all of these issues that may be policy issues. But when it comes to the Constitution of the United States of America, no one person sitting downtown in a spa ought to be able to pick up the telephone and say, you are going to put a hold on my ability to vote. And that's what's going on here. So I would wish they would stop that foolishness, because if we do not protect the vote with everything that we've got, we will not have a country to protect.
Despite all the major setbacks by Democrats and not being able to pass two major bills, looks like there still could be some type of stimulus pushed out. So Omicron surge spurs a new COVID relief push in Congress, and it's actually bipartisan. Many GOP say taxpayers have spent enough, but gyms, minor league ball clubs, and others say they were largely left out of previous aid. So if the GOP is involved and it's bipartisan, most likely it means that there's not going to be stimulus checks in that, but that's mainly going to help out businesses. I mentioned that a little while ago, maybe a week or two ago, but it hasn't really gained any traction, no actual legislation or votes happening yet. But things could change, especially with the surge in Omicron. When it comes to stimulus checks, for the $2,000 per month to every American petition, currently at 3,016,000 signatures, and still no word of a general fourth stimulus check, despite over 3 million people signing up for it on the petition. No politicians have endorsed it lately, as they were maybe about a year ago. Also, food stamps 2022 update, extra EBT $1,504 payments automatically being deposited this week as SNAP $157 benefit sent. So in multiple states, EBT is on the rise. They're actually increasing those benefits for a lot of different states. So this just goes through when it's going to be paid out in each state. But yeah, I think there are 6 states that are increasing the SNAP benefits. Then when it comes to COLA, Social Security 2022 update, extra $200 available for recipients as part of cost of living adjustment increase. So with the cost of living adjustment increase, some people could see their check increase from $1,565 to $1,657. But still, it doesn't seem to be enough. I've asked this question in the past. Has the COLA 5.9% increase been enough for you? Has it helped? Some of you said like you got an extra $19, $27 a month, which may seem good, is better than zero, but still it's not keeping up with the rising cost of gas, utilities, medication, food, a lot of the essentials that a lot of people on fixed income are relying on. So it's been really, really tough for people on fixed income. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I just want to tell you that you should always be grateful what you have. Karma is the one that, so like karma, if you give things out to the world, it comes back to you. Like if you have a friend that is really special to you and you give them a gift and they give you back a gift. That's what karma is all about. Giving gifts. Like if you put silliness out in the world, you'll get silliness back. And it's like you should always be grateful for the holidays that have came. And also, like if you have friends that you care about, you should always give gifts to them. And
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So, as I mentioned earlier, I am giving out $200 checks. So this is sort of how it works every month. Around the middle of the month, I like to give out $200 just to show my appreciation, give back to the Wise Flies community. So this time around, same rules as before. You have to be subscribed to this channel, plus my other two channels, Wise Buys and Wise Vibes. And then you just have to comment on this video only how you are blessed. So just write the word blessed, BLEESSED. More details down in the description below, but just write the word blessed and what you're blessed for, how you're blessed, or just use the word in any way. Just try to add more positivity. I know it's sometimes it's negative news here and there. I just want to uplift people, which is also another reason why I try to have Bella's tip of the day at the end. So although I give you some not so nice news, at least by the end of it, you have a smile on your face. Hopefully that works. But anyways, more details to that down in the description below. And if you want to check out my latest Wise Buys video or Wise Vibes video, you could click up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.